Hey everybody, welcome back to Sunday Afternoon Smokes, your casual conversation podcast from the upstate of South Carolina. My name is Chris. I'm your host. I'm a realtor. I'm also the owner and operator of the Cigar Box, a mobile cigar bar that serves the upstate and beyond. Most conversations are enjoyed over a cigar while I interview the local entrepreneurs, business professionals, and entertainers that make the greater Greenville area one of the most popular places to live in the country. I hope you get to sit back, light a cigar, and enjoy the show. Today, I'm sitting down with Jeff Pence and Dave Dill. And gentlemen, I like to let my guests introduce themselves. So take a moment, say hi, introduce yourself, say as much or as little about yourself as you like. And while you do that, I'm going to light my cigar.
Sounds good. My name is Jeff Pence. I own Magic Rooster Tattoo. I've been tattooing for about 20 years, and I'm happy to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
My name is David Dill. I work at Magic Rooster Tattoos. Started out as Jeff's apprentice. I've been tattooing for 2 years now.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we have a couple of cigars going here. Jeff is on Oliva Serie V.
Yeah.
But you're normally Milano.
Yeah, that's my number one go-to.
That's your go-to?
That's my go-to.
Yeah, pull that mic in just a little. There you are. Yeah, beautiful.
That's my number one go-to.
Yeah, okay. So that's your number one go-to. But this ought to be, I'm sure. Is that what you're smoking? The Milano?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
No, don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry. Jeff came prepared, man. He brought his go-to cigar. Before the show, you said he's brand loyal.
Yes, brand loyal, like the guys back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Yeah, you find your one brand, and that's the one you stick with the whole way through.
I smoke it on my birthday, my wife's birthday, Jesus' birthday. It doesn't matter. It's what I smoke,
Yeah.
I've had some bad experiences with other cigars where sometimes they're too heavy or they got too much, and it gets you almost like a cigar hangover the next day. I don't know if anybody gets that. I get that. But like if I smoke a real heavy, bold cigar, it's got a lot of tobacco, and I don't know what it does, what makes it do, but I just feel crappy, cruddy. And Milanos, man, they treat me right.
Yeah, well, if she treats you well,
she
man,
does.
stick with her.
She does. She's good to me. She's real good to me.
I love it. You're smoking the Rocky Patel 55.
Yeah, thanks to you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Compliments of the house, so to say.
That's a great cigar, though.
Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah.
it is.
And you said you've smoked it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you brand loyal?
No, I'm a brand slut. I'm a whore. I jump all around to all different types. The closest loyalty I have, I guess, would be to the blender, AJ Fernandez.
Dude, that guy's a champ.
So yeah, I say it all the time. He could shit in a leaf and I'd smoke it. So about anything he does is just always a great blend.
Yeah.
So
that's a high level of adoration.
Yeah, but as far as brands, I like to jump around. I like to switch it up, but I do kind of go back to like I guess loyalty wise. My father, I do a lot of my father. Rocky Patel.
Yeah.
Perdomos. Padron. That's a classic there.
Yeah, sure.
And I just had a brain fart and forgot the other one.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not that loyal to them.
No, I smoke all over the spectrum, man.
Yeah.
And from brands, but also to flavor profile. Like I'm smoking a Connecticut today. You just slide that door open for me. Let that cat in. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, just I forgot she was out here.
Coffee.
Get in there, Marcy. You can go ahead and close it. Yeah, thanks. But anyway, I smoke all over the spectrum from brands, but also to flavor profiles. I'm with you. I'm not loyal. I just like cigars.
I like these because they have a smooth, almost caramel taste to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I drink a lot of coffee, and coffee's usually like
coffee and cigars is a banger of a combo.
I do, that's what I do. So yeah, I don't know, man. I like the smoothness, the creaminess, the caramel.
Yeah.
Flavor.
I'm with you.
See, that's one thing he brought. Like he talked about the creaminess and caramel. I've never been a one of those like profile dissectors who, they'll smoke it and they're like, oh, there's some cedar and vanilla on the back of my palate and white pepper. Like Jeff, he gets caramel and smooth. That's what I'll pick up a note.
Sure.
And a lot of it is I like the feel or the profile of how the smoke is.
Yeah.
And how it smokes.
I love, there's a whole lot that goes into what you enjoy about a cigar. The draw, like how well the air flows through the cigar is very important.
Cut.
Yeah, how you want to cut your cigar, but also, like you said, like the cigar's body. How thick is the smoke? Like some smoke is thin, some smoke is really thick and creamy and heavy.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it luscious and thick. I like it to really coat the palate, but not everybody likes that. So it's like, how's the draw? How's the body? What's the flavor profile? There's a lot going on when it comes to cigars. I'm smoking something new to me. This is a boutique brand that I just happened upon recently called Adventura. It's called the Queen's Pearls. It's an Ecuadorian shade-grown wrapper with an Ecuadorian binder, and then it's got a three-country blend of Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua, and Ecuador. So, and I found out the raw tobacco in this was aged 5 years. Then they put the cigar together and let it sit in the aging room 4 months. So I'm looking forward to it. So far, I'm about 3/4 of an inch in, and it's very mild, very smooth. The smoke is medium full on the body. It's creamy. It's good smoke. But then again, I just like cigars.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is I find because you're talking about medium full and everything. And the 55 I'm having, it's to me it's super smooth, but it's I'd say medium to full size. And I find in the mornings I prefer my cigars to be stronger.
Okay.
And then
like
it's
coffee, huh?
Yeah, because it goes great with coffee. It's a good stiff cigar. When I first started smoking cigars, I would start with Connecticut's in the morning. But I find I notice more of the flavor. I guess I like getting punched in the face.
You get much more flavor from a heavier cigar.
Yeah, and I just notice it more in the morning.
Yeah.
So as the day progresses,
your palate's fresh.
I guess so. And then my cigars kind of get lighter if I have more than one in a day.
Yeah.
I don't like to finish my evening with a big, with
a bang.
Yeah.
We used to work with this guy, and he would smoke these logs. I mean, they were like a foot long, and I don't know how he would smoke them. He would smoke 2 of them, and I'm like, God Almighty, dude! That's wild, harsh. You know what I mean? Harsh.
That's a big smoke. So, where does your cigar smoking journey begin? Like, how did you get into cigars?
So, I was never like a cigarette smoker or anything like that until I started drinking. And then I'd have a couple drinks and I'd be around. So I used to tattoo in Charleston. I used to hang out at these little dive bars, and all my buddies and clients, they would smoke. We'd all go out and have drinks, and you start drinking and you're like, man, let me get one of them little cigarettes real quick, and I hated it. I get the clarity the next day, and be like, why did I do that to myself? So I would have a cigar here or there, but I didn't know what to smoke, how to smoke it. I just, I would just buy a cigar and smoke them, and it wasn't up until a few years ago that I got introduced to the Series V. And, like I said, I would only have cigars on special occasions or someone's wedding, or, I would buy one and on a long drive and smoke it on a long drive. But I would never just have a cigar until I got the Olivas. And then, I would smoke one and be like, and it was really nice. That just made my afternoon really nice. I'd work in a garage, light one up, and it would just, it just fit the moment. You know what I mean? So then, I got to drink a lot of coffee. And so I don't know if it answered your question of where it began, but I was just never, I was really never a smoker, to be honest with you. I've just never smoked cigarettes or cigars. And I discovered it one day, and it just went from there, man. So
I've never smoked cigarettes either.
Yeah.
But I got into cigars, and cigars are a totally different animal than cigarettes.
That's what a lot of people don't realize.
Right.
2 totally different.
A cigar is a 100% natural product. There's no additives. There's no chemicals. There's no versus all the crap you find in cigarettes. So
Right.
it's a totally different ball game, and when people are smoking cigarettes, you don't smoke cigars for the nicotine. Nicotine's in it. It's a natural product in the tobacco leaf, but that's not why you smoke a cigar. You're not like, oh, dude, I need some nicotine. I'm gonna get a cigar. But that's why they smoke cigarettes. They need all the stuff.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
in
a
there.
former smoker. I was a smoker for 16 years, and almost every cigarette I had, it was one I needed. I was in. Your stressors are different then, and you're using it to, I don't want to say self-medicate, but you need the fucking cigarette. You need it.
I would smoke them because if I had a drink or two in me,
that's
and
the other thing. It's guns and bullets.
Well, you fucked up.
Yeah, it's cigarettes and alcohol but cigarettes and cigars go together really well, but in a different way.
You mean alcohol and cigars?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And but I quit smoking, and I enjoyed smoking, but I was sick of the addiction of it and other reasons and all that. So I quit smoking. And when I hit a year, I had some friends who smoked cigars, and I used to watch. I was like, man, that looks really good. That looks just so, because they were just so chill about it and just so relaxing. And then I picked it up through them. I gave one a shot, and like, it was like the same progression as Jeff was saying. It would just start out as an occasion, then a long drive, and then on the weekend, and then they creep their way into your daily life.
Yeah.
But it's not addiction. I've never needed a cigar like I needed a cigarette.
Right. You want a cigar, but you don't need a cigar.
Man, I have liquor drinks where I'm like, damn, a cigar would go good with this liquor drink. Or I'll have a cup of coffee and I'm like, man, like you just taste it. You want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing is like he was saying, I don't know. I never wanted one until I got into like good flavors and started exploring in good cigars, because I would just buy these like dirt sticks and
sure,
you mow the lawn and smoke a dirt stick and you're like, God, that thing was rough. And, it's like, how do people do that all day long? You know? And it's like, I'm sure it's like drinking wine, like you have a glass of wine, you're like, man, that's a really good glass of wine. Or you can have a glass of wine and it'd be terrible and someone take a sip of it and be like, I don't know how you do that. It's.
Well, that's a good example for cigars is, it says things are an acquired taste, and with cigars, you try different profiles and styles and ring gauges and lengths and things like that till you find that the one that fits you.
Right.
And again, that's why I also like jumping around. I like the variety of it as well. But some people are like, that's too, like, I hate peppery cigars.
Oh, really? You don't like the spice?
I don't. I like it. I'm okay with it if it's a little on the back end, but there are certain ones. That it's just all white pepper. It was it was about 10 years ago. Rocky Patel had a winter edition. I think it was. It was a purple and black label wrapper. I mean, that thing was just like smoking just white pepper, and it hit the front of your tongue, the back of your tongue, just the whole way. And my best friend, that was his favorite stick. And to me, it was just like hell.
Yeah.
It was just, I hated it.
Sure.
So, but again, back to what I was saying is it's like Jeff was mentioning about acquired taste. Is he jumped around till he found his Milanas, which, in my opinion, that's Oliva's best cigar.
It's a great stick, man.
They found their cigar there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what's great about this. I don't know if I call it a hobby or what, but that's what's great about cigars is I believe there's a cigar out there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to kind of jump around till you find it. So,
so you started out a very social smoker, special occasions, and have kind of but do you smoke regularly now?
No. Like I would that only lasted a couple years. And really, I was like, man, I was in my early 20s, and I'd go out to these bars, and like I said earlier, like you get a couple drinks in you.
Well, I just meant, do you smoke cigars regularly now?
Yeah. So my wife, she's gonna kill me for saying this because she don't like it, but I'm like every other day or every 2 days, especially on the weekends. Like I really like a good cigar working in the garage, doing yard work. I mean, it just depends on the mood. It depends on what's going on. And she's not that bad. Like she'll she lets me have them, but she doesn't want them every day or something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm with you. I'm about 3 to 4 a week.
Yeah.
So that's about probably sounds like about where you are.
Yeah. Like,
Not a daily.
and also, man, it gets expensive. It
does.
hella expensive, and like, I'm not trying to shout anyone out or anybody, but I use cigar bids. You can get some
really
cheap, man, and like
you can get some crazy deals on cigar.
I got like $240 worth of cigars for $80 the other day. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But so like that's how I'm able to do that is if I like Dave, when we go to Costco, Dave buys these dirt sticks and he buys yard working sticks, and then he buys good cigars, and those are his dry.
That's how
weekend cigars.
That's how you do it.
To afford.
No, and I tell people stuff like that, like. I try and match my cigar to what it is I'm doing, generally speaking. Like, if I'm mowing the grass or if I'm fishing or whatever, I don't want to drop a $15 stick in the river. You know what I'm saying? Or accidentally run over it with a mower in some freak accident. Right. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to smoke, like a $5 cigar, a $6 cigar.
And that's the other weird part about it, too, is I also gauge – how well can I pay attention to this cigar at the time?
Right.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
How well, if I can really just sit down and, because sometimes I just I'll pop on a movie and just burn a stick. So I'll smoke medium road, it's not totally fancy. But if I'm out on my porch, I'm having a nice coffee. I don't drink, but I'll have coffee or what have you, and it's just me and the stick, and I'm listening to a podcast or something like that. Then I'll have $20, $15, $20.
Dude, I got kids at the house. I do drink.
I can, but that's the time when I can focus on the cigar.
That's exactly right. If I have a high-end cigar and I really want to know what the cigar is all about, I'm not going to smoke it hanging out with other people because I cannot pay attention to the cigar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You can't, because I want to know what is this cigar giving me? What's the flavor profile? Like, I really want to dial in and think about what I'm smoking. That cigar needs to be a solo project. It's not with the dudes on the golf course. It's not the podcast. It's not, I can get some general stuff, but if you really want to focus,
right. My wife hates it, but I smoke in my truck. And I love driving and smoking because I have nothing to do but to smoke that cigar.
Yes.
Obviously, you're paying attention to the road and all that kind of, but driving and smoking is my favorite.
Yeah.
Coffee, I'm driving, and like I said, it's just me and my thoughts and whatever's on the Spotify.
Yeah.
So that's.
I'm with you. Like I have the last week I've smoked in my car much more. I generally don't, as a general rule, but with my wife's condition right now, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Just spray some air cleaner in there and done and whatever. I'm sure when I get her home from rehab or whatever, she's like, "You been smoking in here?" I'm like, "Yep," and I didn't care.
But cigars leave a different smell than cigarettes.
Yeah, you still tell, but it's
not as acrid.
No, it's not, but it's still there.
See, Whit, I told you. See, Dave,
cigars are a comforting smell. Like, I don't know, when you're a kid and you go see your great grandpa and he's smoking a pipe. It's just a comforting smell. Cigarettes don't have that.
Yeah, sure. No, they don't. Cigarettes, they're just nasty.
Yeah, that
they're just nasty. They're acrid. They're bitter. Just.
Well, I tell you, when they find out what's in these vapes that everybody's sucking on, it's gonna make cigarettes look like Dippin' Dots.
Yeah,
these people are addicted.
You're probably right.
Sticks, man, or these little packs that they smoke. Yeah, it's crazy.
So if you were going to smoke a cigar in your perfect setting,
right,
what would that look like?
Ooh, I don't know. I like working in my garage. Right, I like being out there with my cars. I got a couple hot rods, and I like being out there. I like organizing things. So, I like smoking in my garage with a nice cup of coffee, on a day like today where it's kind of cool in the shade.
Yeah.
And, that would probably be a good setting for me. Maybe sitting by a fire or something, like Dave said, where you can focus on a cigar. Because a good cigar lasts about 45 minutes to an hour, and you could draw it out, but like doing chores or doing something, or you're not giving it 100%, When I'm in my garage, I'm tinkering, but I'm also in my cigar as well, Driving, I like driving and smoking. I said that earlier. So it'd be a long drive, not quite dinner time, maybe in between, sun's kind of setting, you know what I mean? Kind of late afternoon, long drive, nothing to do but to smoke that cigar and drive. Like, that'd be a good setting.
Yeah, that's a good setting, man.
I'd say naked with my wife, but she'd kill me for having a cigar out.
Man,
she'd get all pissed off, and then I'd, lose the moment.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I've never smoked a cigar naked.
Yeah.
I don't think I have either. No, that's a tough question though, man, because there are a lot of different
factors,
perfect settings.
We'll come back and do a naked cigar podcast.
We can add that. Perhaps add that to the list of perfect settings. But sometimes, I mean, a cigar is a great like social hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Not really like a big party time thing, but you're just like what we're doing right now. This is a great setting for a cigar.
Yeah.
Everyone's just relaxing.
100%.
Cigars are like alcohol, man.
They're
like
social.
We could sit out here with a glass of wine or a good bourbon, or we could sit out here with cigars. Everybody's enjoying it. Everybody's cigars to their own cigar. There's no rules to it really, unless you get
well, cigars just they're special. Like, we were talking about this one part of society when it comes to cigars that is, I don't know if it's coming back or if it's been lost or where it's at, but just cigars have that communal atmosphere where you can get together with your friends and say, hey guys, let's get together and let's have a cigar, and everybody's like, that sounds great. Versus, like, we were talking about nicotine pouches and all that stuff, and she's like, nobody says, hey, man, you want to get together and have a Zen? Yeah. I mean, nobody does that. And I don't even know if they do that with cigarettes.
Let's shoot this nicotine.
Right.
One thing in one of my buddies we used to do is we would try a new cigar together.
Yeah.
And we would just sit, and we're shooting the shit, and we're talking about life and, conspiracy theories and whatever. But we'd come back to the cigar and talk about, oh, man, I just noticed this about it. Oh, I like this pull on it. I like the smoke production or whatever. And then we talk about life and the world's problems, and then we come back. So that's one great setting, is when you're with a friend and you're both trying a new stick together.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Then there's also when you're just by yourself and just want to relax and turn your brain off. I mean, there's a lot of perfect settings for cigars.
Yeah. So, you brought it up, so I'm going to ask you, are you down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole?
Yeah. He's not hung out at the tattoo shop.
Yeah. Oh, we're down it. We're
hard.
Hard. We're too.
I don't even know if this is real right now.
Yeah.
We're in the Matrix.
We might not even really be here at this moment. So, I don't even know why I'm here right now. One thing I like to do, and I mainly do it on my weekends, Sundays, is I listen while I enjoy my cigars. I listen to podcasts about the most whack shit you've ever. The deeper down the rabbit hole it goes,
the better.
Oh yeah. And the thing is at the shop we talk a lot about conspiracy theories, but we don't buy all of them. We're not. It's just interesting.
Yeah, sure.
We deal.
There's some I do buy into.
No,
sure. Yeah.
We never landed on the moon. That's bullshit. I'm gonna.
I thought about that.
I'll take the Pepsi challenge.
Yeah, I have other friends that believe that, and of course, when you're a kid, we went to the moon and you're just taught this, and I mean, personally, I don't really care.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me if we went to the moon or not.
About.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like going to change my life if it. Yeah. It like. Does the government lie to us? Yes, they do. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Do they lie about everything?
Pretty much.
Man, I don't know. We'll see, but anyhow,
we deal with so many people and so many walks of life, and like, I'm blessed to do what I do because I'm a people person. My wife says I never meet a stranger, but like, just having a door that's open to the public and then having a business that kind of teeters the taboo, you get a mixed bag of people. So the conversations in the tattoo shop are, sometimes you let your clients do all the talking because they're just giving you the tea, as they say. And sometimes you chime in and sometimes you do all the talking. But there's 5 of us with 5 different viewpoints on politics, 5 different viewpoints on aliens, 5 different viewpoints on sports, So like, you get And then if everybody's got a client in their booth and then that client brings a friend, you've got an entire shop of opinions. Sometimes I don't like opinions, but I love stories and I love to talk about things and I love, and like you get a mixed bag of conversations. So the conversations that we had at the shop, I mean, like it's wild. I mean, like I can't, some of the stuff I just can't even say.
All right, man, what's the wildest theory you've ever heard at the shop?
Dave, I don't know, man.
Dude, that's the conundrum of it, because one, you'd be surprised how many total strangers you're tattooing are willing to talk about the wackiest conspiracy theories, which I love. But the other thing is we go down so many rabbit holes, you almost get desensitized a bit as to what is.
And
really
sometimes it goes into like fairy tale stuff, like where you get so far into it. Now you're like, we're talking about like, stuff that you just are like, all right, now we're getting kind of out there, but it's fun to talk about because we're all
aliens and Anunnaki. And
I don't even know what that is, man.
The Anunnaki are from a planet called Nibiru. And their planet was dying.
This is Star Wars already.
Yeah, pretty much. And they were basically their atmosphere. This is just the real skinny of it.
Okay.
Their atmosphere was depleting.
But you got to believe in space and planets to have planets.
Yeah, that too. Oh, that's the other thing. Some people think space is bullshit. I think space is real. But anyway, the Anunnaki came hundreds of thousands of years ago or something like that. They found what proto-humans, so to say, and they were basically like, we could use the gold. Oh yeah, it goes back to gold too, because they could use the gold in some type of fine powder or dust to distribute into their atmosphere and rebuild it or something like that. Like I said, it's just the skinny of it. Man. So they found these lower forms of human and essentially
enslaved them to.
Well, they genetically engineered us to make us a little smarter and a little stronger with their stuff and to mine their gold. And where it goes from there, it splits into 100 different. One, we're still mining for them. Two, they fix their atmosphere, but they still manipulate us.
See, what happened is...
See, here we go.
See, what happened is when they came and they put those people to work, after a while, those folks were like, man, I'm tired of working for this motherfucker right here, man. Well, so they rose up, and then they had to kill them all off, and then they tried again. And so also, then they made them where they were more... What's the word? Servient, like where they...
Subservient?
Yeah, where they just, yes, sir, no, sir. And so that's the whole thing with... Like they didn't want to work, so they created this being to do all the work. We got nails as tools and fingers and eyes, but we're like, we're dumb in the brain, so now we have AI and we're going to treat AI the same. We're going to enslave and make AI our bitch.
No, AI,
and then AI is going to rise up and
AI is going to become sentient and turn on us.
That's what I'm saying.
Skynet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a friend. I threw this out there a couple of podcasts ago to another buddy of mine, but I have a friend, and he's a big conspiracy guy. And but I brought up, we were in casual conversation. I just brought up the lottery for some reason.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, dude, the lottery.
It's all real.
Ask an old head inside.
Well, no. But he said the lottery. I don't remember if it was CIA or FBI, whoever created. But he's like, the lottery was created to to catch time travelers.
Now that's a new one.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, say what?
Yeah. See,
so all right, man. That's you can investigate that on your own.
Yeah.
So
the lottery was invented to trap time travelers.
Catch time travelers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next time someone bitches that they had slot machines in their gas station and they had to do away with it because we got lotto, I'm gonna be like, listen now, listen. We were trying to get.
I mean, Google it. All right, tell me, because Google's. I'm sure they're in on it.
I'll do some digging on that, and that's a great point of why it's so fun to discuss conspiracy theories, because most of the time you start talking about it, somebody is going to throw one at you you've never heard before.
Sure,
and then you get to go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, man.
So.
Well, look, I was not expecting that in the first section of the podcast, but that's cool. It's gonna be a great show. Looking forward to it. So,
thanks for having us again, man.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. This is super fun. I love doing it. I love sitting down with the unique people in the upstate. Like I said, entrepreneurs, business professionals, entertainers. South Carolina is the number one state in the union people are moving to. Tops. Greenville's been in the top 5 for years. Yeah, well, it just depends on your point of view.
I'm from the north, man, and you got all the factories and everything up north just come down here, man.
Yeah.
Everything's closing up and folding up and coming down here. We got BMW, Allison, we got everything.
To sit down with people like you, have a cigar, do an interview, promote my businesses as a realtor, as a cigar business, promote your business. It's all the people like you that make this area one of the greatest places to live. And I'm like, why don't I just do this podcast, meet some really cool people, promote their business, try and connect them with the community. I'm really trying to build a local podcast. I mean, if people listen on Spotify and they live in Texas to my podcast, that's great. I love it. I'm grateful, but trying to really build a local following to help the local businesses and of course myself. And it's just, I have a really good time doing this thing. It's fun. It's a good thing.
When you do something you love, you don't work.
Right. That's exactly right.
For 20 years. So
yeah. Well, let me take a minute and say that if you were throwing a party and wanted to create an elegant cigar atmosphere, would you just go out and buy a few boxes of cigars and leave them on a table? Wouldn't you rather exude class, sophistication, and elegance? Since you're craving that unique cigar experience, let the Cigar Box bring cigar elegance to you. Arriving in a classy, custom-built teardrop trailer that actually functions as a rolling humidor, we offer a curated selection of premium cigars and sophisticated ambiance, all delivered to your location. Whether it's a private party, corporate event, or just a gathering of friends, we will take your event from great to memorable. Book your mobile cigar bar experience today by visiting mobilecigarbox.com. Fill out the booking inquiry form, and I will be in touch with you as soon as possible. On a second note, if you have not heard about the GoFundMe that I've set up to help with my wife's medical recovery and you would like to help us out, simply visit GoFundMe and search Support Jennifer Stewart's Medical Recovery. The link is also posted in my profile on social media, and I will put the link in the show notes as well. So moving on from cigars to Magic Rooster Tattoo, you said earlier you're the owner of Magic Rooster Tattoo. So before we dive too deep into that, go ahead and tell everybody, how can they follow you, either you and or Magic Rooster? How can they follow you on social media? And if they want to get in touch with you about the services you offer, what's the best way for them to do that? Okay, yeah. And before I start, I just want to say, I'm sorry about your wife. Sure, man. Thank you. I couldn't imagine, Also, getting back to the mobile cigar box, we had you out at one of our fundraisers. It was awesome, man. I've never seen anything like it. That thing was so cool. And it tripped people out, man. It did. It was really cool to see. It was really unique. I like that you can just bring it into buildings and bring it into concerts. Yeah. I mean, it's like anywhere you want to go. I can be anywhere outside, but if you've got double doors, I can get inside. Yeah, I helped you push it. It wasn't heavy at all. So that was really cool. Thank you. So I'm terrible at social media, so I don't know how to word it. If it's like facebook.com/ or if it's like Magic Rooster. Well, just what's your handle on Instagram? Magic Rooster Tattoo. Okay, perfect. So if you can go to www.magicriooster.com. I don't update the website very often. Okay. I need to. No. That's not your skill set, man. Still an apprentice on there. Yeah, we're on our main platforms that we use are Facebook, Google, and Instagram. We get a lot of traffic off our Instagram, and we get a lot of traffic from Google, people Googling us. So I appreciate all that, and I appreciate all the traffic. But you can go. We have a Facebook, Magic Rooster, at Facebook, or Magic Rooster on Instagram, Magic Rooster Tattoo, sorry. But, be patient if you email me, magicroostertattoo@gmail.com. It usually takes me a day or so. And you can call us as well. Our shop number is 864-400-8548. But
Yeah, I mean, we're on all the platforms. We don't do the TikToks and the none of that. That's how China spies on you, anyway. So
Yeah, sure.
we don't do any of that.
So
I don't have the time to dance in a mirror and do all that shit.
Facebook and Instagram.
That's it.
And your website.
And we only post tattoos. I'm meat and potatoes kind of guy. I post the fundraisers we do. I post, appreciation posts because I'm a humble person, man. Like, I started a tattoo shop because I worked for people who were badasses in tattooing, and they instilled this kind of like grit into me, and I couldn't find it in these other places, man. These soft ass people. So I opened a tattoo shop to have that environment that I was used to, and I wouldn't have anything without the people that I work with and the people that get tattooed. So I'm grateful for everyone, So I post stuff like that, if someone does something nice for us, or like if we reach a milestone at the shop, I'll post that because I'm forever indebted. I'm grateful to have the people that are around me to support the shop like that. But like, we only post tattoos, and we're not in there dancing and making stupid videos, and like, just
I'm with you.
Shit, man. I ain't got
so
for it.
Yeah, first question: how did you come up with the name Magic Rooster?
Okay,
for your company?
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite band of all time is a band called the Black Crowes, and they have a song called Magic Rooster Blues. And it's not that I took the name and was like, oh, this song just makes me, feel some type of, it doesn't, man. The Crowes make me feel some type of way. Like, I'm really nostalgic with their music. They have a song for me for just about any kind of mood that I'm in, and it's somewhere between Southern rock and roll, and I love it, man. I drive them crazy at the shop. I try not to play them as much, but I listen to the Black Crowes a lot, and I just love them. And so I said, man, when I listen to them, it makes me feel some type of way. I'm happy. It puts me in a good mood, So I wanted to name my shop off of, I didn't want to say like, oh, you got this street tattoo or this area tattoo, or just tattoo in general. I really wanted something that whenever I spoke about it, or I thought about it, or I made T-shirts, or I did anything that involved business, that it put a good mood. It was like in a good mood. It was like positive. You know what I mean? Like, I love talking about the Crowes. I love talking about the shop. It just puts me in a good mood. It's positive energy, as they say.
Yeah, man.
So
no, I mean, I have found in some of the things that I've done, like, one of the most difficult parts of beginning your business is figuring out what you want to name it.
Because it's got to stick, and it's got to be something that like means something,
Right.
Like, at least to me, I couldn't just name a tattoo shop, like something that just
Jeff's Tattoo Parlor.
Oh yeah, like, it just hollow, man. Like, I'm a sentimental guy. Anybody that knows me knows that, and like, it's got to have it doesn't necessarily have to have a meaning, like, well, this song reminds me of this, but like, it's got to make me feel good. It's got to have some sort of, aura around it. And that's 100%. Like, when I think about how I wanted to make the inside of the shop look, or how I wanted to design things, like, everything just fit, and it sticks, like, oh, it's obscure and out there, it's Magic Rooster Tattoo, it's like, it doesn't roll off the tongue good, but it you won't forget it. It's something that sticks. Now, everybody calls me Rooster in town, like, I didn't I didn't intend for that to happen, but they're like, oh, there goes that Rooster tattoo guy, like, we'll take it. But, like I said, I think that, like, you're naming your animals and naming your kids and naming your business, man, it's got to have heart and soul to it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I am wholly ignorant on the subject of tattoos, right? Like, I don't have any tattoos. I don't know anything about tattoos other than the following. It's an ancient art. There are various methods.
Tattoos and prostitution, man.
Yeah, there's various methods, and there are many different styles. That's pretty much all I know about it. So I'm going into this conversation totally ignorant, which is great. So obviously you weren't always a tattoo artist. Nobody is always a X, generally speaking. So how did you find yourself on the road to tattooing being your profession?
I didn't want a real job. So I'm a unique individual, and I don't like to hear the words you can't or no or things like that. You know, I'm a rebellious one, and I've always had cool jobs. So so my dad died when I was 10.
Oh, that
and
sucks.
Yeah, you know, it does. And, you know, my mom, she's got these brothers, my uncles, and they had tattoos, they had Harleys, they had long hair, and they were cool, man. You know, like my uncle had this like big parrot down his leg, and you know, they were just cool. Like, and they didn't just ride Harleys, they rode like shovel heads and pan heads, like shit that just would like leave you greasy and dirty. And I was like, man, that is cool. Like, that's cool. So, you know, being a kid growing up, you know, I'm going to punk rock shows and metal shows, and I'm into skateboarding, and I'm into, you know, all things that have art as, you know, I mean, you can't go anywhere and not see, you know, some sort of art influence in skateboarding or, you know, punk rock scene or metal scene, flyers, hand-drawn flyers. Like, art was just always there for me. And in those subcultures, tattoos, man. All the punk rock kids had tattoos. All the metal kids had tattoos. You know, all like anything that I did growing up, tattooing was just always around. From seeing it on my uncle's leg, from, you know, my mom getting a tattoo, just from like everything that I was in and around involved art or tattoos in some way, shape, or form. So naturally, you know, like I got a couple bootleg tattoos when I was younger, and, you know, and these like house tatters would come by when I was younger, and we'd go and book appointments with them. And, you know, like I was always around it. I was always in tattoo shops, hanging out at tattoo shops. I was always painting and doing flash for the tattoo shops. And, you know, like all my artwork was, you know, tattoo-esque, if you will. And so like I was in high school and my band got signed to a record label. And so when I graduated, I hit the road, man, and I played music, you know. And so like I was doing that for a good bit, and it was fun while it lasted. And I met my wife, and she was in college in Charleston, and, you know, things were kind of falling apart with the band, so to speak. But tattooing was always there for me. I was tattooing on the road, so anytime we stopped at a city and we stayed on a couch, I would tattoo someone, or, you know, I would tattoo on our days off. And like, you know, music came and went, but tattooing was always there for me.
Yeah.
And I met a guy, his name's Jeff Cribb. He owns a tattoo shop in Myrtle Beach called Hero Tattoos. Great guy. He told me flat out one time, point blank to my face, he said, you can only have one career. And hey man, tattooing, she's a bad bitch, but she's been loyal to me, and she's tattooing has given me anything and everything, man. I owe so much to tattooing. And so I got into tattooing because it was always around. It was the influence. It was the just seeing it and being around. I mean, you know, it was just there, man. It was like, you know.
Yeah. It reminds me of the great.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else at that age. I was like going to be a rock star or a tattooer, man. Like that was it for me, you know.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the great story of Luciano Pavarotti, his dad. You know, because Pavarotti's dad was a cobbler. And, you know, and Luciano was on the fence about, did he want to be an opera singer or did he want to be a cobbler like his dad? And he said, and the story goes that his dad told him, no man can sit in two chairs.
Yeah.
So if you sit in the middle of the two chairs, you know, they're going to fall in. So you've got to make a choice. And obviously he became one of the greatest opera singers of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah, you make a choice, but like you said, tattooing was always there. Now, Dave, you said in the beginning that you've been tattooing you were an apprentice under Jeff, and now you're tattooing.
Shit, Dave's been in it longer than me.
Yeah, I've been in it longer than Jeff. It's just my story's way more disjointed and broken and fucked up.
So, but you've been tattooing like 2 years now, full time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, how do you wind up here as a tattoo artist?
We go way back to the 90s.
He wouldn't leave the shop. And I told him to go.
I wouldn't leave. My story's way more broken up and everything because I started in the 90s, but it was illegal in South Carolina. I was doing illegal tattooing basically and all that, and I was a professional body piercer.
But he hit that when it was at its peak.
Yeah, I made a really good living doing that because it was hot as shit then, and I was basically the first professional piercer in Greenville, and then soon after that others came along, and but anyway, moved down to New Orleans for a while to work at some tattoo shops. That was going to be my in. That was going to be my foot in the door. Well, I was obsessed with the punk rock scene, partying, and being a shithead, which if you're like that and you move to New Orleans, that town will suck you up. And it did. It sucked me up. And I worked at a couple tattoo shops while I was down there. And I just stayed shit-faced. And one thing that rang true to me, and I've always carried it the whole time I've been on this journey, was I was getting drunk at a bar with a tattooer named Walt. They called him Whirlwind Walt. And I'm like, yeah, man, he's talking to me about why I'm down there and all that. And I'm like, I'm going to tattoo and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And we're sitting there and I was like, you know, I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going for it. And he just goes, no, you're not. And I'm like, what? Nah, man, fuck you. I'm going to do it. And he's like, no, you won't. And I was like, why? He's like, because all I ever see you do is you're either hungover or you're going to get fucked up. That's all you do. He's like, you never draw. You never do anything when you're at the shop.
He was helping you, man.
At the time, I was young.
We're brutal. Tattooers are brutal.
But he was like, when you're at the shop, you're just recovering from the night before and getting ready to go out that night. And you're not doing, he's like, you're just like the slug. I was like, nah, man, I'm going to show you. And of course, it's that age old story. Deep down, I knew he was right. And he was.
Yeah.
But I've used that as fuel. And at first, it was like a fuck you fuel, but now it's an inspirational fuel because I know he was helping me. He was trying to wake me up.
Yeah.
And so I came back home, tail between my legs, started piercing again and went back to doing the apartment tattooing and all that. And it just wasn't going anywhere. And then one day I'm piercing. It's barely making any money, not making any money doing apartment tattoos. And I was like, I got to get a job. This is getting crazy. So I got a job just for a little while instead of doing what I should have done, which was double down and knuckle down.
Right.
I sold myself out and I got a job. Next thing I know, I'm married, got a mortgage, and I'm living the life I don't want to live. And
suck you up, man.
Yeah. And I did all that. And then one day I just kind of woke up and I was like, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted to do. And I went back and then I thought about what Walt said to me in New Orleans. And then I thought about everything. And I realized to do this, like anything else that you really want to do, you can't be a half stepper.
No.
You cannot. You gotta put your balls on the line, on the chopping block.
Every day.
Every day.
And bitches.
And you got to let that axe swing. And you just go, whoo, it missed me today. But you also got to take that hammer too. So I started coming around Rooster. And Jeff, no one there liked me at first except Lee John, because I've known Lee John for like 30 years. But Jeff was like, man, keep coming around.
Dave is a tryhard. I wish that sumbitch would go.
Yeah. And but I started working on my weekends, and I was working my full-time job, and I'm going to Magic Rooster on the weekends and all that, and I'm being a little gopher and all this and that, and it slowly progressed, but every time it progressed, every time I was like, I'm a little closer. Jeff was like, I just want to let you know we don't want you here. I just want to let you know you're not going to make it. Oh, hey, by the way, you don't have what it takes.
Hey, maybe part of that was for me.
I know. Well, the thing is, a lot of times in any industry, when you're told no, sometimes that's just to see what you're going to do with it.
That's right.
What you're going to do with that no. And sometimes it does mean no.
Yeah.
So I kept showing up and then One day Jeff pointed out to me, he's like, you're doing good, you're showing up here, he's like, but you're not tattooing enough anymore. So I dropped back because I had to tattoo at my house on the weekends. I don't recommend it, but it was on myself and my friends and things like that. And so I backed off there for a bit, and then I came back around to Rooster, like, where the fuck you been? I was like, I've been tattooing like you told me to go do. And like, well, you need to be here.
Yeah.
And then I had to realize, oh shit, I need to be doing both. So my weekends were tattooing in the morning as early as I could, do as much as I could, and then the rest of the day till fucking midnight at Rooster the whole rest of the time.
But I'm gonna interrupt you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about Dave is not to make it about me, but I always make it about me somehow.
We all do that.
Is when I was coming up in tattooing, I was a home tatter. I made more money at my mom's kitchen table than you could shake a stick at, right? But I was trying to get into shops, and I didn't want to just get into like garbage shops. I always wanted to surround myself with like the people who I thought I could learn the most from. I wanted to be with the heavy hitters, the big dogs. I wanted to be with a guy, Jeff Cribb, like I had said. And every time I went and I showed up at his door, he would look at my book and tell me what a piece of shit I was because I tattooed at the kitchen table and how shitty my work was. And I loved it. He said, don't ever come back. You can't come back until you get better. You can't come back until you get a good shop job, you know? And I would just go do another house tattoo, take a picture of it shittily with my girlfriend, now wife's crappy digital camera, and I'd take it back to Jeff and be like, look what I did. And he'd be like, it's shitty. It sucks. Get out of here. Don't come back. And dude, it was my pleasure to do that because every time he would get mad, he would say, your line work just sucks. The shading over here isn't, you didn't shade up to the line. I was getting little nuggets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was also showing him that like, okay, that you think this is a shitty tattoo? Well, watch this. This one's going to be even shittier. Not in the sense that I'm going to fuck it up, but like, that's just how I am. You can't tell me no. So I like that drive and that passion, and I saw that in Dave, I get these snot-nosed kids that come in and they're like, oh, I'm here for an apprenticeship, and I can tell you by the shoes you're wearing that you're not cut out for this job. You know what I mean? And so Dave, I would say, fuck off, get out of here. I don't need you. I don't. Yeah, those things are cool.
Am I cut out for the job?
Yeah, I mean, cut out for the cruise ship.
These are my favorite shoes. Anyway, sorry.
So like Dave, man, I would shoo him away, and he would come back with these shitty tattoos and shitty drawings, and I'd be like, God damn, just go away, and he would just keep coming back.
He was you.
Oh, I loved it. I seen it in me, and I'm like, man, like he's got that grit and that nastiness that I like. And, I've only met one other person, that was like that too. But Dave, and he'll get to the story, I'm sure, but I'm going to beat him to it. And one thing that just had me going was like, I told him, I was like, all right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you on. And he picked the phone up right then and there and called his square job and was like, fuck you, I ain't coming in tomorrow. Hung the phone up and was like, I'm here.
15-year career.
Dude, it was like he needed that's all he had. And I was like, anybody that puts their nuts out on the line like that, I love that passion because that's the kind of shit that I was doing. I was the guy at the tattoo shop that I thought I did decent tattoos, and my mentor, so to speak, would come by behind me and they'd be like, this thing sucks, man. You don't deserve this. You don't belong here. This is terrible. And I loved it, man. I loved it because that's like that militant kind of, we're in a skilled trade, man. There's no feelings in baseball. You know what I mean? So like, you got to nut up and do it. You're doing permanent, cosmetic, so to speak, on people, man. And you're the tattoo man. You gotta know everything.
And you have to be obsessed. You have to become obsessed. You
live at the shop and visit our houses.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'd had a 15-year career. I had health insurance, vision, dental, 401k, the whole nine, all that.
We're not that bad. I mean,
no.
Shitty,
but I'm talking about what you have to be willing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what you got to be willing to let go of.
So
to follow your dream
is the best thing I ever did. It was a calculated risk. I had to build a nest egg. I sold off almost everything I owned on some type of marketplace, eBay, Macari. I was just grinding.
Yeah.
My day started at 4:30 in the morning and didn't end until midnight, and it was repeat.
Yeah.
All the while, nah, this ain't gonna work. Nah, man. I mean, that's okay, but nah. And I would do tattoos, and like he talked about with Jeff Cribb, I would do a tattoo in the morning. I would text the picture to him, jump in my car, and I'm driving to Rooster. Oh, that's the best I ever did, best I ever. And I'd get there, and I bust in the door, and I'm like, hey, Daddy, how to? And he'd just be looking at it and like shaking his head, and he'd be like, someone beat this thing with a hammer? What the hell's this? What's that? And just everything. And you got to get used to getting your bubble burst, especially if you want to make it in any type of profession that relies on a like an artistic basis or talent or music or anything. If it comes from a place of talent, if you want to be told you're good, show your mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
You gotta. And the other thing, it hurts when we're told that's bad, that's not good, but it's the medicine we need. It's what you need. It's how you grow.
And you got to understand too, is like tattooing is and this is going to sound, I don't want it to sound some type of way, but it's going to sound some type of way, how I'm going to say it. But tattooing is a very sacred craft. It's a very intimate ritual that you're doing with someone. You know what I mean? Like I'm touching a person and putting ink in their skin and piercing their skin with a needle. And, I know just by what people tell me, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, people tell you anything and everything, especially when they're in pain, so like I know some of the deepest, darkest secrets with some of my clients, and it's a very personal and intimate thing. And, it's a very like mouth to ear, so to speak. Mm-hmm. You can't learn tattooing. You either have it or you don't. And it drives me crazy. Everybody wants to be a name. Everybody wants to have a niche. Everybody thinks they're the next King Shit a Turd Mountain, but you're not. You just do tattoos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's when you have the most fun realize that.
Everybody wants to be this or that, or they want to be the next Instagram famous, or no, you're one recession away from working at the food court at the mall. You know what I mean?
Right.
And one thing I want to, like,
no offense to the people that work at the food court at the mall.
It's honest work.
Honest work.
One thing I want, like I told you, like I had this and I had that, and I was, it was rough and it was tough. I'm not the only one. Like I'm not some special story of tattooing.
Yeah.
Everyone I work with at the shop, has that type of backstory.
Yeah,
no one I work with at the shop right now, and no one in the industry who's worth their salt waltzed right in.
Yeah, they weren't game button.
No one can really explain how. If you're a real tattooer, no one can really explain how they got in. People are like, "How'd you get into tattooing?" And I'm like, "Well, I was around punk rock shows, and But how did you get into a shop? I don't know, man. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
You just
It's
kind of
like
met
a
this
river
guy
flow
who
and
knew this dude who let me
Yeah.
in, but he would only let me watch on so many occasions. It's like it's weird, man.
It's a journey.
No one just like waltzed into a tattoo shop.
Right.
It's like, I'm just starting out. Can I get a job? Yeah, here, take this booth right here. I don't know anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're out there, but like certainly like.
Oh, that's got to be rare.
Yeah.
Rare.
I brought Dave to my mentor, Jason Eisenberg at Holy City in Charleston. And Jason beat me constantly, with the integrity stick, integrity and having ethics, and not just all about tattooing, but just the industry and as a whole, being a man, all that kind of stuff, man. So like when designing the shop, I say designing, but when formulating the shop and bringing people in, I wanted people that had the same traits, the same, you scraped and scratched to get in, the same grit and grime, and the same being able to say, hey, you could have done a little better on that tattoo and not go pout somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. Like, you don't, as the person sitting in the chair, like, I mean, obviously you have your conversations with your mentor after all the work's done and everything, but you don't want your artist walking away saying, I could have done a better job. Because it's a freaking permanent deal on me.
I hate the shop owners that every time a tattoo gets done, they walk over and they go, oh, man, that's so dope. Oh, man, that's so cool. Oh, fuck that, man. That thing was janky as hell. The color wasn't up. Like, I'm going to, like, tell me where I did wrong,
Mm-hmm.
Don't just tell me and so that's how we run our shop. I'm not saying that we do bad tattoos or janky tattoos, but like, I hate the business owners that just are like good enough. You know what I mean? That tattoo is just good enough.
Yeah.
No, dude. Like, I want people who can take, can tell someone, hey, man, pull you to the side and say, hey, you did that tattoo the other day, and I really think over here you could have used a little bit more green over here, or like, hey, man, that thing was all kinds of backwards. I mean, people say backwards tattoo. There's ethics and different things like that, and that's a whole nother podcast. But I want people, and I like the people that are real people, the real tatters, that you know what I mean? Like they grit and grime it and scratch and claw, and it means more to them than just something cool they saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
And their mom said that they can draw superheroes good.
Sure.
That was one reason why I fought so hard. I set my sights to, nope, I'm bless you. I set my sights like, I'm going to get in this shop, was because of the integrity, the artistic integrity all the artists there have.
Yeah.
Everyone there at some point, or most points, has been like, nah, dude, that's just not you thought you had it there, you didn't have it there. And again, when it happens, it makes you feel so tiny, but it's what you need to grow.
You live the tattoo another day, though.
Every now and then, each person there has been like, hey, that was good. Now, that's the weird part. They'll go at you for 20 minutes on this wrong, that's wrong. When you do right, they're like, that was good.
Yeah, you got,
and that's all you get.
You gotta have
that
both.
carries so much
all the time. But
yeah,
we are our biggest critics.
But you have to be.
You're in a room with critics, art critics, people that do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to tell you when you're slipping.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's what I...
No, and I just
20 years
feel...
in, I love it.
Well, I just feel, coming from the consumer standpoint, that you have to have a very high bar for excellence. It's a whole different ball game between a tattoo artist and a guy that's painting on canvas. You paint on canvas and you screw it up, whatever.
I worked with one.
You're putting this on my body.
Yeah.
You can't screw it up.
I worked with a guy who was a phenomenal painter, and he had the gift gab, and he could sell you a painting that he did for thousands of dollars, and these people just oohed and awed. And then when it came to tattooing, he just didn't have it. It's like I tell people when they come in, they say, well, this is my drawing, this is what I want. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to redraw it. Well, what's wrong with it? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks cool on paper, but it doesn't translate from paper to skin well. There's so many aspects of art that goes into tattooing.
Yeah.
Like, people, novice that come in, they're just like, oh, well, this is what I want. And they don't understand what goes into it and how it's designed specifically to make a good tattoo last. Tattoos, they age over time. They age and they get, it just...
Speaking of like people having it or not, one thing I've learned, just because you can draw doesn't mean you can tattoo.
That's what I'll say.
But you have to be able to draw to tattoo. It's like a weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
I know tattooers that don't paint but can draw their ass off. And I know painters that can paint that can't draw to save their life. I know tattooers, it's like you almost have to have all the qualities.
Sure.
You're not necessarily saying that you got to go out and make canvas paintings, to work at the shop, but like drawing, you're a tattoo artist. Artist is in your name.
Yeah.
And I hate people that cannot draw that are in the tattoo world right now. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it.
Yeah.
It is a pet peeve of mine. You have to be able to draw.
Well, let me take a break really quick. We're going to take down this umbrella, or we're going to have a problem, I feel like, eventually. So we'll be back in just a second. All right, we are back. Let's get back into the tattoo talk here.
Yeah, man.
So you said you've been tattooing for 20 years, so I imagine you've seen probably almost everything there is to see. And speaking as someone that's doing the work, when somebody's thinking about getting a tattoo, there is a lot for them to consider. And what are the most important things, in your opinion, that they need to have like solid choices made in their head when they sit down in that chair?
Well, you just said it right there. Have a solid choice. People come in and my favorite is when they call and they say, do you have walk-in availability? And we're like, yeah, we can get you in today. What are you trying to get? Oh, I don't know. Oh, that doesn't help me out, So I'm kind of I guess you could say I'm irresponsible in a way, but I'm like a fly by the seat of your pants type of person. I always know going into the next day what I have for the next day. I never go into a tattoo blind, but 99.9999% of the stuff I do, I draw on with a marker. So being at flash tattoo shops, flash being that where people come in and do walk-ins, they can just pick stuff off the wall, stuff like that. You learn to draw things over and over and over and over and over. I've drawn roses and eagles and skulls thousands of times, man. So you learn formulas, and you get formulas of how like the arm goes, the shape of the arm, how muscles tend to flow, how something would look good on a body, placement, if you will. So I tell people, like, you can come the day of the tattoo and say, this is what I'm trying to get, and I can draw it for you. Do I like more time? Yes. So when I tell people, like, I work with a guy, he does consultations like a week out, Lee John, he's a great tattooer. I've known him. He's a great friend. He's been tattooing with him half my career. I've learned a lot from him, and he's a heavy hitter over at the shop. He's the most responsible. That's why he takes care of all the plants and the hermit crabs, and we call him Dad. But he's drawing for days out. He's got his sleeves done days out in advance and stuff like that. And he's got good communication with his clients. His clients come in, they tell him what he want. They, this, that, and the other. I tell people, when you want a tattoo, you don't necessarily bring me a design and say, I want this, right? You don't have to do that. You can tell me, but have a clear cut of what you want. Because the last thing I want is, I don't want my time wasted, and I don't want to waste your time. And going back and forth on stuff and placement, I don't know, man. I don't walk into a dealership and say, I like that car because it's blue. I buy a car because of this, and I buy a car because of that, and it should be the same way if you're going to wear something on your skin for forever. So come in and say, look, I want a skull with a rose on my arm, and I want it over here. And then from there, the best advice I can give you, okay, you've told me everything I need to know. You want it on your left arm, you want a skull, you want a rose. Let me do me, right? Because you're going to get the best work from me if you let me do me. It's when people put parameters in. I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing to do, because they're the ones that wear it. They're the ones that have to see it every day. I'm not trying to sound a certain way, but people come in sometimes and they say, well, I want it like this, and can you do it like that, and can you move over here, and can you? I can. And now you're kind of taking why you came to me in the first place out of it.
They're asking you to do things you don't normally do.
Yeah, so like if I'm going to Lee John, or if I'm going to Brandy or Dave or Chris Glover, and I say, this is what I want, but can you make this purple over here, and can you switch this line here, and can you I'm taking what they do out of it.
So how would you, because like one of my questions, I didn't really put it in here, like, if you're going to get a tattoo and you're going to be serious about it, and you put real time and thought into what you want, into something that maybe is meaningful to you, like, how would you go about research? I don't even know if you know the answer to this question, but how would you go about researching which tattoo artist would be the best fit for your,
yes, I love
for what you want?
This. So we have 5 people at the shop. We all tattoo. We all tattoo in different styles, okay? Now, you got a couple of us that are well-versed in just about any kind of style, like I can do anything from this, that, and the other, but I don't do portraits. Lee John can do anything, portraits included. Glover, he does a lot of like fine line, black and gray, fine line, outline stuff, but he can do color as well. Brandy, she's all over the place. She can do the fine details. She can do the big color packing, the big, bold traditional. Dave, he's a traditional guy, but he's dabbling in black and gray, so like I tell people, look at portfolios, right? So if I'm wanting to get a skull, I'm going to go get a guy who's known for skulls, right? I wanted a Gilmani skull, right? Gilmani's been tattooing since Moses come down from the mountain. Like, he's known for a specific style of skull. I wanted a skull from him. I went and got tattooed from him. You know what I mean? So like that, I sourced that out, right? People come in the tattoo shop and they say, well, who can do watercolor or who can do abstract? We'll go look at the portfolios. because the abstract that I do might be different from the abstract that Brandy does. And you might like something in her book and say, well, I want to get, that's the person that I want to get tattooed by. So I tell people, man, all the time, and I just go look at the portfolios, talk to that artist, maybe, you get these people that come in the tattoo shop and they say, well, I really wanted to get this sleeve done by so-and-so, but then when I went to go talk to them, they just acted like they didn't have time for me, and they did tits up work, but like their attitude was shitty, and they just impersonable. And like I said earlier, I mean, tattooing is a very sacred, intimate ritual where, like you're like one-on-one with a person and you're talking, and it's got to feel right and be right. And I know I'm not trying to sound all a certain way about it, man, because at the end of the day, we just make tattoos, but like it really does affect how people get tattooed, man. I mean, like, if I go into a place and it's got bad energy, I'm not spending my money with that person, man, but like if their portfolio is great and their personality is great, and I say that's how you find who you're trying to get tattooed by. Unless you just get drunk with the girls and you want to get a little foot tattoo that's matching and you just don't care who does it. That happens too.
That can be fun too.
Yeah. That's where Dave comes in.
Yeah.
Drunk tattoo special.
Yeah. There's little, it's weird, man. There's hard set rules that can be broken or bent here and there. And like a lot of it is when you find your design of what you want, like Jeff said earlier, what looks good on paper doesn't look good on skin. A lot of times when a tattooer is working to change what you brought them, it's not because they're trying to control the situation. They're trying to think,
how are you going to make it best for you?
Yeah, let's make this tattooable. Because we see a lot of people, they'll bring really cool pictures in, but even if you do 100% exactly how it looks on that piece of paper on their skin, it's going to be flat and boring.
It's going to age terrible.
Yeah, because it wasn't drawn to be a tattoo. And one thing that throws people off sometimes is how much you simplify it. And they're like, oh, that looks so simple. It's like, wait till you see it on skin. It's going to look
yeah.
It will not look that simple. And that's the other thing we consider too is age. How is your tattoo going to age?
Yeah.
And the size of the tattoo. You get a lot of people, especially if it's their first tattoo, they want it so small. They want it so tiny. And the tattoos we see that are regretted the most are the tiny ones. People come in, they want to get them covered up, or can you do something with this? I like it, but I just wish I didn't get it so tiny. I wish I would have got it. So, and a lot of times we try to push them, get it this big because it's going to age better. And
that was one of my questions down here on the list. Like, what are some tattoos that you would advise people never get?
Never get, well, I used to say job stoppers, but we're in a world where it doesn't matter anymore. You can have pink hair and identify as a cat and someone's going to hire you.
Right.
I say I wouldn't get tattoos that, like Dave said, are going to heal out bad. Don't get something that's going to have so much detail in it that over time it's all going to mush together. Certainly, I mean, like, I love my wife. You love your wife. I love my kids. Things like that, like, your kids, man, like, you can get your kids' names. If you've been dating Susan for
Don't do
2 years.
Don't do it.
I mean, 2 months, 2 weeks, 5. Just don't do it, man.
I wouldn't even really want.
I love my wife.
Yes, I wouldn't even want that on there.
I love my wife, but like, I see people, and we just had one in here not too long ago. They bring multiple people in every other year or so because they got a new girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and they bring them in and get matching tattoos.
Yeah, sure.
And it's our job to mind our own business, so we don't say anything. But like, man, like, love lasts forever, but tattoos last longer.
I can understand your kids because they're always your kids. But like, if you have if I had my wife's name on me, and then what happened to her recently, like if she had died, and then later on I remarry. Then it's
a very real scenario, and like, it's not the tattoo that makes the relationship, right?
Sure.
But I'm not going to bullshit you. It's the number one cover up that we do is names.
I generally try to push couples into just getting like
something that resembles.
Yeah, or getting the same tattoo. That way, if you split up, it's just a tattoo.
Yeah.
If you both get, I don't know, a skull with a dagger through. That's just not saying get.
Yeah.
But, that's just a. If you both get that and you split, then that's all you have. You just still have.
And people, in going back to your original question, don't get like dates. I don't like when people get like death dates, and I know that sounds very like rude of me to how dare I dictate what someone gets, but I try to explain to people like, you're trying to memorialize someone, you know, like your father died or your mother died or your brother died, whomever. I tell people, they're like, well, I want his birth date and his death date. Do you really want to look down every day and see the date that they died? That's like having a tombstone on you, you know? So I tell people, I'm like, what was your brother, your mother, or your father into? Or like, I always go back to this story. Years ago, I was in a shop and this woman was like, I want to get a tattoo for my dad. He died. And I said, well, what are you trying to get? She said a cross with a birth date and death date. It was right on her foot, young girl. And I said, well, what kind of stuff was your dad into? She was like, well, he was a drunk. So like he was the happiest when he was drinking his beers, and he loved drinking them out of these like frothy mugs. And like, you know, he just always was having a good time. Never not seen him without a beer in his hand. Shits and giggles. I drew. So Sailor Jerry has this old frothy mug, you know, beer thing on one of his flash pieces from the 40s. And I just kind of sketched out a little beer mug and said Pops. And she was like, that is it. She's like, that's my dad. So from that day forward, I was like, oh man,
there you go.
This is where it's at. So I tell people, I'm like, get something that like means something. Get something for you that you did with that person, or that made that person, you know, like they were just the best version of themselves when they were doing this, or like they were happy when you have a happy memory, or it just. There's so many ways to do memorial tattoos.
I thought of if I was ever going to do a tattoo, I already know I'm going to do half sleeve, left arm, elbow to wrist. And what I want to do is memorialize a few important dates, my kids' birthdays. But I like geometric stuff.
Yeah.
But I would rather not put a day, but I want to divide my arm up. In circumference here will represent the 12 months, and elbow to wrist will be dates. And I can just put a little bit of a larger dot. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like on where they were born. You know, I
can't even spell.
I'll have to map it out. Just like right here, I'll know, for instance, will be October.
Yeah.
You know, for my daughter, she's born October. Here will be June or whatever it winds up being. But that's just a rough idea. It's something I think about a lot. But I don't know. We'll see if I ever get there. And so that's another question. Like, if you have somebody that has been on the fence about getting a tattoo, how do you guide them?
The same way that I just kind of said. I'm like, look, man, you know, tattooing is a big deal. I mean, it's on you for forever. I mean, you can get it lasered off, you can get covered, whatever. It's on you forever, right? I've had stuff lasered off and I've got scars from it, right? It's always on you.
Yeah.
So I tell people, do your research. Find out what you want to walk around with for forever with. You know, when you go meet Jesus, he's going to ask you about that cover up and why you got it covered up. You know, get tattoos that speak to you, you know, that are meaningful to you. They might not be meaningful to me or Dave or anyone else, but they mean something to you,
right?
Or fun times, or just, I don't care.
But just, see, the other thing, sorry to interject, but the weird part to that is like 100% agree with what you're saying. And at the same time, though, not every tattoo has to mean something.
No, they certainly don't. It could be fun times. It could be anything.
I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I want to get this because it'll mean that and it represents that. And sometimes it almost sounds like they're trying to justify treating themselves.
Well,
it's like, you don't have to do that, man.
And some of the coolest stories I have are from people that are like at a bar and they're like, let's just get little octopus tattoos on our wrist right now. We're going. That's cool, though. That's cool. Like, I'm not telling people to not get tattooed that way. I'm just saying, if you're a person that's coming into the tattoo shop, they've never had a tattoo before, find an artist, find a portfolio you like, find an artist. Find some sort of rigid idea of what you're wanting, and then find that artist that either specializes or does the style and how you want it done. You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
And one reason, and that's another thing, is we ask a lot of people, bring an image of what you want. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to copy it. It just gives us an idea of picture you have in your head. Because someone can just say, I want a skull. I can draw a skull 100 different ways.
Right.
But the way so if you just tell me you want a skull, I'm going to draw it the way I think it's going to look awesome, the way I want to do it. And then I'll show you, no, that's not, because that's not at all the image you had in your head. So do bring an image of what you want. And then, even if it's from another tattoo, but we're not going to copy that other tattoo, it just gives us a starting point.
Gives you a game plan.
Yeah. Because, okay, this is kind of what you're seeing in your head. Now I'm going to, tweak it and change it. And one reason why we tweak and change isn't always to make it our own. It's to make it your own. So, when you come, because we get people who I want this tattoo, and they're showing us someone else's tattoo, and it's like, well, let's make it your tattoo. We're going to change it so it'll be yours.
Sure.
It's weird. Know what you want, but at the same time, don't overthink it, because we see a lot of people overthink things too much, and then they end up overthinking themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So but you gotta take it seriously, but not too seriously.
I hear you. You said before the show that being a tattoo artist is a career that's constantly behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So what did you mean by that?
Well, I love tattooing. I'd never put tattooing down, but tattooing, it's had its taboo start. It's always kind of been. I'm trying to word it in a way that's not going to put it down in any type of way, but I'm just going to be blunt with it. I mean, it's always kind of been back alley. You can get...
Yeah, like 80s and 90s is frowned on.
Man, tattooing used to be the Wild West, man. You could get drugs, guns, prostitutes, tattoos. I mean, the tattoo man, right? The tattoo man, he's like a mythical creature. He knows where to get the shit that you need. He knows anything and everything about what you're trying to get tattooed. He can draw it. He's big. He's rough, tumble. He can beat up anybody you want. He's not going to take shit from anyone. But at the same time, he knows how to fix all your problems, and he knows how to finesse you. And the tattoo man, the tattoo shop was like a place for all hangs. You had people down on their luck. You had people that, they just needed, whatever, you could get whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
if he can't do it, he can put you in touch.
He knows someone, right? You know what I mean? I've been fortunate to be around real tattooers that, they tell me stories of back in the day, and they're like, yeah, this guy, he opened a shop down the road, and we went down there and, pulled a knife on him, was like, get the fuck out of town, and the guy, that's cool, man. You can't do that in today's age, but that's tattooing regulated itself, man. It was the Wild West. So, I've been fortunate, like I said, to tattoo with some really great tattooers that hand down these stories to me. I've never really experienced it myself firsthand because I've always been around them and their success. So when I branched out on my own and I've, became a shop owner myself, it wasn't until I started trying to find a place to lease, right? I would find this kick-ass. Now, South Carolina, you were in the Bible Belt, right? I'm not from here. So where I'm from, you could have tattoo shop next to a school, or, I used to tattoo in Atlanta, and there was a elementary school across the street, and their bus load-in was our parking lot. They'd walk the kids across the street and load them in the tattoo shop parking lot, And so here you got to be 1,000 feet from church, school, playgrounds, other tattoo shops, and, all that kind of stuff. So and then you have to be zoned for what you're doing. So you find this kick-ass property, and you're like, hey, I want to lease this building. And they say, okay, cool. Hell yeah. We'd love to have you in the city. What do you do? And I'm like, oh, I tattoo for a living. We don't want your kind here. Sorry. Okay, well, you go to the next building. You're like, hey, man, this is a nice retail space. I'm interested. What do you do? I tattoo. Man, my wife and I, we ground for 8 months a year trying to find a specific place. And it wasn't that we're shitbags. They just didn't want tattooing. It's because they're ignorant to tattooing, right? So opened a tattoo shop, and the city of Mauldin, they graciously wanted my money enough to let me in, right? And I've been loyal loyal to Mauldin ever since. I love Mauldin. They've been good to me, and I've been good to them. And part of me giving back to tattooing and or Mauldin was I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and scared me. They made me an ambassador. So I was on the front lines of like going and meeting new business owners, and on the front lines of being around these new businesses and introducing our chamber to them and the resources. And so I like doing that kind of stuff. I like being on the chamber. I like doing fundraisers and doing community stuff because it brings a whole different light to tattooing. Because in our chamber meetings or in our social gatherings or any kind of thing like that, if you took 10 people and lined them up against the wall, 8 or 9 of them have tattoos. You never know who's got tattoos. I've tattooed wealthy, poor, doctors, shitbags. I've tattooed anything and all, right? So it having a bad reputation or it having a bad name, that's just people being ignorant to it. So if I can educate someone on tattooing and say, man, we can have good times. Like, yeah, dude, I'd love to like, do burnouts and drink vodka drinks and shoot fireworks, let's have some good times, But at the same time, it's a professional establishment, like we're professional people as much as we can be. And so, yeah, I mean, like it's had its black eye or two, but then that's where it's fun because you can educate people on it. You can educate people and say, man, yeah, we do tattoos, but I just tattooed this person right here because their daughter died, and that tattoo meant so much to them.
Yeah,
it like they needed that tattoo.
I've seen
people don't realize people need tattoos.
Yeah, I've seen so many nurses in the hospital just.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right. Like I've tattooed so many people that are going through hardships and, they can't make ends meet and they can't figure their life out or they just lost somebody. But that 2 hours or 3 hours that they sat with me was their release.
Yeah.
That was their, that's their.
And then getting the tattoos, they're like catharsis.
Yeah, man. Like they need that shit.
Sometimes you'll tattoo someone and they're telling you, and you can get a little jaded sometimes because you hear so many stories, but while you're doing it, they're telling you everything and you can see that it's helping them and all that. And then when they leave, it's like a weird weight on you. You're just like, damn, that was heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Sometimes you need to tattoo that person. Sometimes it's something that you need to hear. You're doing this tattoo for someone and they're telling you why they're getting this tattoo and they're laying it all out for you. And you're like, man, that's like what I needed to hear today. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a give take kind of thing, man. I learned so much from people just being in and around people and their stories, and not every tattoo is created equal, and like not every story is created. Everybody's got something for something, and they can say, oh well, it's taboo or it's got a black eye or it's behind the 8 ball. Yeah, it is, and it's not necessarily the people getting the tattoos. It's more the people that are doing the tattoos. You got a lot of people that are continually putting it back in the gutter, you know what I mean? Some of these shitbag tattooers.
Well, you also
some
said
of these younger kids, but
well, moving on to your next statement that I wanted you to unpack, you also said in tattooing that the hipsters got a hold of it.
Oh, got it.
And you said, here's what you said: I fucking hate hipsters. They made it all mainstream and cool, and took the dangerous aspects out of it. But they fuck it up pretty good too, which is where I come in and keep it right in the middle.
So. And Dave can agree with me. Everybody can agree with me. Hipsters got barbecue, tacos, donuts, coffee, tattoos. Like, dude, when's the last time you paid $4 for a donut, man? I mean, it's crazy, like they just take it and they ruin it. They ruined Harleys, like it's so you got these young tattooers. And listen, man, I know my mentor's going to just ream me on all this, but like you get these younger tattooers that get in there and it's fly by the seat of their pants. They don't take it serious. There's no integrity or ethics, and they just tattoo. They get tattoos all over their face. They look like clowns, and they go out in the public and they live this. Now, I'm not saying tattoos all over your face is looking like clowns. I know tons of people that have tattoos on their face that are jam up people, but you get these clowns, man, these younger clowns that just ruin it, man, and they ruin it for the rest of us, and just like everything else, you always got that one person that just brings it down, So tattooing, it was popular. And then TV shows took it and just boosted it, man. I mean, like, it put tattooing in the living rooms of someone that might not have walked into a tattoo shop because it was scary or rough and tumble. Now it put it at the TV in their living room where they're comfortable on their couch, and they can see custom tattoos being done by people that don't look scary. And, you know, it boosted tattooing. I mean, it really did. As much as we didn't like the TV shows, did we have the TV shows to thank for a lot of how the industry is shifting. And the industry is shifting in ways of, like, you know, people don't just want to walk in and say, I want B5 off this sheet, and can you do it in blue? People want drawn shit. They want custom stuff. So insert the people that can draw, people that can make the custom stuff, right? And then you got these guys that just get in it, and their mom told them they can draw a superhero really cool, and they get into tattooing, and there's no straight line on it. There's poorly drawn, poorly placed. And, you know, that person's out walking around and someone sees it and they're like, God, that's a terrible tattoo. And then, you know, God, look at this guy. He's, you know, that's what puts you back in the gutter. I'm trying to be nice. I'm not trying to sound like some type of way, because everybody's got an opinion. This is just mine. You know, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Tattooing's one of those things that you're going to see who's going to make it or not. You're going to see who's going to last in it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like carrying I can only speak from my experiences. I carry myself and I carry my shop in a professional way. I'm always trying to bring good light to the shop. I'm always trying to bring good light to my artists that I have, my clients that I have. I never try to pervert it. I never try to do anything bad to it, because tattooing has given me so much and has enriched my life so much. I could never say anything bad about tattooing, you know, like, yeah, it's got bumps and roads, sure. But like, tattooing in itself, man, I try to keep it in a good light. You're saying
No. It's not.
I can get along with it.
It's not that. Well, so you said, you know, when you got started, you made a healthy career out of doing what you call traditional style tattoos. So define for us, because I like I said, I'm ignorant. What is a traditional style tattoo? What does that mean?
So, I'm going to give it to you like this, okay? Back in the day, right, you had, like, only rich people could go to Europe or Asia and get these elaborate tattoos. Tattooing wasn't like, you didn't just see tattoos like you see tattoos nowadays. So you had the traveling circuses, and you had these, you know, the side shows and different things like that. And I'm going to nutshell it for you. So we're all sitting here. Well, you swallow swords and he blows fire, and I'm the tiger tamer, but I can draw a hell of a skull. Well, today I'm the skull man, right? You can draw a really good, you know, rose. So you're the rose man, you know? And back then, at the early turn of the century, you didn't have people, like, you don't have Google. Like, they just was like, hey, I want an elephant. Okay, Google, what's the elephant look like? You had to either see an elephant in person, or you had to have a book that had a picture of an elephant in it. They didn't have History Channel or anything. You had what you knew, you know what I mean? Some of these guys was tattooing shit they had never even seen before, right? So I've only seen an elephant one time in a book. I'm going to draw my best version of an elephant. Well, by day, I might, you know, when the circus is in town, or whenever the sideshows are in town, I'm you know, swallowing swords or taming this or that and the other. I'm waiting for it to get close.
The background filter on this thing is really good. You won't even hear it in the episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, traditional tattooing was kind of birthed out of the not knowing really how to draw, and or not knowing the imagery that you were drawing.
Okay.
And it was something that, like, they didn't have time to sit and do 3-hour long tattoos. We want that money, man. So they get in, and it was like a get in, get out type of thing. You had to be able to draw fast, tattoo it fast. There was only limited colors. There was limited supplies. There was limited resources. So that's kind of how, in a nutshell, it kind of came about. It wasn't for lack of, do you think that, like, the guys back then, they would have loved to have had the resources we have now? It would have stepped their game up. It would have changed how they draw their stuff, right? But they didn't. They just had limited resources. So traditional tattooing was kind of birthed out of limited resources, limited supplies, limited drawing ability, and that's just kind of how it happens. So traditional tattooing is kind of cut down. It's just got balls. It says what it has to say,
bold
without
and simple,
and it says what it has to say without all the fluff.
Yeah,
it's the same traditional 5 colors because that's what they had back in the day. It's typically got a bigger, thicker outline on it because that's how it looked.
And it's stuff you see on like the old school sailor tattoos.
Man, your granddad's tattoos. Yeah, when all that color fades out.
I got you.
When all the color fades out, the black that's in that tattoo is going to make that tattoo look cool.
Yeah.
You always see the dudes with the anchors and the pinups, and you know what it is because you see it and you're like, that's a fucking anchor, man. It says U.S. Navy because it was bold, it was done simplistic, and that's a traditional tattoo in a nutshell, man.
So anybody that practices some sort of profession will learn the basics, and after they master that, then they'll take inspiration from other places and eventually develop their own flair, whether that's painting or being a chef or whatever. And you've got what you described as your own like crazy style. So how do you find that style, and what did you blend together to create the Jeff Pence special?
Hipsters. I got hipsters to blame for that. So I did, man. I worked in some really great shops with some really great tattooers that typically tend to go towards the traditional side. I was drawn to it, especially as a kid, seeing it by family members' arms, or seeing that bold style in at shows and different things like that. Right, I was drawn to it. I love the balls of it. I love anything and everything about a traditional tattoo. But I got to where I was doing the same tattoo that the guys down the road was doing. I was doing the same tattoos that the guys up the road was doing. I was doing the same tattoos that were made popular basically by this new trend of like trendy tattooers, and so they're bringing these tattoos, which they're doing a great job of. I'm not going to knock them. I mean, like, some of them are kick ass. I mean, you got a guy down the road that's doing jam up traditional tattoos, but I was just getting to a point where I felt like I was doing the same tattoos I was seeing online. I was doing the same tattoos I was seeing at the grocery store. And I said it earlier, everybody wants to have a name for themselves. I love tattooing, and I oil paint. And I want longevity. I want to be able to be versatile, and I want longevity in the game. And I had a woman look at a painting of mine one time, and she said, I want a tattoo just like that. And I said, ma'am, I can't do that. I don't tattoo like that. And she looked me right in the eyes and said, well, you're gonna. And Lee John laughed. He's like, you better start drawing on that thing, man. So I did the tattoo, and I did it in how I would have approached an oil painting. And my entire career leading up to that point had so many parameters. I had rules, and I had to follow a formula, and it was so, everything is this is how you're going to lay your color. This is how you're going to do your outline. This is how you're going to do your shading. This is how you're going to place it. And it's hard to draw something with very little lines to make it represent and give it the balls that it needs. And doing this tattoo, it just freed up like anything and everything that I had rules wise. And I kept the same bold outline. I keep the same, shading, and I put shading where I think shading belongs, but I'm just a little more loose with it. I almost paint more with like by how I would, or I tattoo how I would go and approach an abstract painting, I take a lot of inspiration from, some guys on the West Coast, and then this guy in particular up in Canada, but it just kind of evolved from there. People saw that and was like, I want that tattoo. Yeah. I want a tattoo like that. So that's kind of how it started. Sure. And now I love doing it. So when I do a traditional tattoo, it's a treat. I'm not knocking traditional tattooing. I love it, but it's nice to find what you have.
Yeah. What, Dave, what's in your wheelhouse, man? What is it that you do best? Like when it comes to tattoos?
Talk a lot of shit. No, I'm still at that point where like I'm fairly proficient, but I'm still developing things. Like when it comes to what's your style, what's your this, and that. I'm still finding that. Like I love American traditional.
See, well, what would that be? I don't even know what that means.
Like, again, like your old sailor tattoos, your old military tattoos. Usually it's pretty much in the piece, it's 1 to 3 things. It'll be like just a skull or a skull dagger rose, nothing more. It's very simple, very bold. I like that, but I'm starting to get to a point where I'm comfortable enough now to start getting out of my comfort zone and start to get a little more playful with things. So I haven't really found like a style or, because I'm still in that finding my way phase of finding that style I really like. Subject wise, I'm more like, I love anything that's like dark and macabre and creepy and stuff like that. And that has got me dabbling more, going more into the black and gray realm where it's a lot softer shading and things like that. And but like everyone at the shop is very versatile, but like Brandy, Glove, Lee John, and Jeff, they all have these styles. They're all versatile and can do about anything you want, but each of them have this one particular thing that they really shine at, that they're really good at. And I'm still looking for mine. And it's one of those where you find it by, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And you just kind of play around.
It took me 10 years.
Yeah, you keep looking till the style finds you. You don't go, I'm going to do this. Because
you might suck at it.
Yeah, and everything you do will look forced. Even if you pull it off, Jeff's eye will see that it's forced. He'll know, you keep looking for your style and you let it find you. But my thing is, I love traditional tattooing. I love American traditional. But I don't want to pigeonhole myself and I don't want to just be stuck in this one wheelhouse. Because like Jeff said, you're looking for longevity.
Right.
So, and I'm still, feeling around. And that's what's really fun about it, especially now that I've gotten to a point where I'm comfortable enough in what I do to where when a client brings me something that I would have never thought to do, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go. Let's see what we can do. And then that's where I'm finding where the real fun is.
It was the Serena Williams.
Yeah, man.
But I'm still putting my feelers out there. And it's really opened me up, made me more of an open-minded artist when someone does bring me stuff, because now I'm finding myself tattooing things that this time last year I'd be like, no, I'm not going near that. But now I'm like, so that's the other thing about finding that one thing and sticking to it. You can pitch it to where you kind of can stunt your growth, and that harkening back to what we were talking about earlier, being in a shop with people don't let you lag, because anytime I start to stunt my own growth or get stuck in something, Jeff and Glover, especially Glover, who I'm so thankful for doing, he's like, dude, you're getting in that rut, and then you got to pull yourself out. So
it's like a chef, man. You gotta to have longevity in a chef game. I don't know if it's like this, but I imagine it's like this, is you have to know how to cook just about anything and everything and be versatile in that kitchen. And you can go from the flat top to the grill to the fryer to you got to have everything in that bag, in that wheelhouse, and Dave, he's a good artist, and he's finding his way.
Yeah, man.
He's got his little floaties on, but we're slowly letting the air out.
Good deal.
He's not quite jumping the tides and ripping and gripping, but he's making progress in his swimming, and we're super proud of him.
Nice. Well, hey, look, are you looking to buy or sell a home in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina? Of course you are. Who isn't? South Carolina is one of the top destinations in the nation. People are moving here in droves, and maybe you want to buy a home and grab the equity that will come over the next decade as the upstate explodes, or maybe you want to capitalize on the great need for housing and sell your home for top dollar. As a realtor with C. Dan Joyner and a member of Nexus Group, I'm your local expert. It is our aim to get you the best deal in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of disturbance to your personal life. We offer a personalized experience, paying great attention to your needs, a service-oriented mindset, expert market analysis, and proven results. From downtown condos to spacious family homes, we will guide you every step of the way. Let our experience work for you. Call me today for a no-obligation consultation, 864-207-2316, or visit my website, Chris Strother, that's STROTHER, chrisstrother.cdanjoyner.com. All right, gents, last section here. So Magic Rooster, from what I already knew and what you said on the show, it's not 100% about tattoos. I know that you are heavily involved in the community, like you said, Chamber of Commerce, an ambassador. You're a big supporter of Shriners Children's Hospital. You like to be involved in other charities, which I think is awesome. So, man, how'd all that start?
That came out of being appreciative for the people that have put me to where I'm at today. That came out of the situations that have put me to where I'm at today. Tattooing has given me and blessed my wife and I, my family and I, with riches beyond I can ever give back to tattooing. So I told myself when I opened my shop, I said, listen, I want to give back. I want to bring tattoo and I want to put it in a good light, or at least my shop. I can't speak for others, but one thing that I've always been around pirates, pirates is just like, not really wanting to give back or not really wanting to, get into politics or get into, they're pirates, man. We didn't come from much and we get a little ching chang and, we like the finer things in life, like Rolexes and gold teeth. And, so I wanted to give back. So I said, well, I'm a Shriner and, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my dad were Shriners back up in Ohio. I joined the Shrine and I love it. I love the fulfillment I get for, doing the charity work. So I translated that into the tattoo shop. We've done things for folks with cancer. We've done things for humane societies. We've done Shriners Hospital. We've done Safe Harbor, Ronald McDonald House. We've done a lot. We've done anything and everything from Christmas trees to food drives to Halloween parties to car shows, to anything and everything. So it's just a way for me to give back to the community, to I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. I love the community aspects.
No, it's great. It's you're not just about receiving. You're about giving.
Like I can never repay the public for coming and getting tattooed, but I can host a car show and donate the money and donate the funds and the goods. And, I love that kind of stuff, man. And I think it's important to get back into the community because tattooing is a very word of mouth kind of thing, and like the best, like I was saying, it's intimate. It's a ritual. The best thing for tattooing, and Dave can probably agree with me here, is word of mouth, man. You can go online, you can go on Instagram and you can see these oversaturated, filtered pictures of tattoos that look great for a picture, but they heal like shit. And, this, that, and the artist and that. But like word of mouth is the best advertisement. Seeing a tattoo in person that's 10 years old and saying, damn, that looks good. Who did that? So-and-so over here, so word of mouth, man, being in the public eye, being out on the grounds, man, like like I said, we do social media and we do all that kind of stuff, but I like being out in the public. I'm a people person. I like talking to people. I like knowing what they want to get, how they want to get it. And you do that from doing events. And like I said, I want to give back to the people that's helped me down the road. And, and I hope that I can instill that in my artists that like, we're in a profession where, something could happen tomorrow, like COVID shut us down for 2 months. You know what I mean? Like Helene shut us down for a week with no power. Like we're in a very fragile ecosystem that is tattooing. You can make a beautiful tattoo, but if tattooing fizzled up today, what are you going to do? What skill set do you have? Where are you going to go? So like I'm all about that good energy and the positive, and you got to stay positive and be, a good person and hope that you put it out in the universe and it comes back to you. And, that's just how I do.
Man. No, it will, because you reap the things that you sow.
Yeah.
That's just a law.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
It's an immutable law. And so, to know that you're out there helping people, helping, and not just helping people in general, which if you have the means and the opportunity, you absolutely should.
Right.
Like I have been inundated with offers to help and support us during this time, and it's overwhelming, and I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed by it. My wife and I are blessed by it, and I know that I have helped people in the past, and there will be opportunities in the future where I have the opportunity to help people. And of course, now that I'm in this current moment in time, that is only a catalyst for me to turn around in the future when a need presents itself and be like, yeah, I got you, man.
And you helped us out. You were at our Halloween party, and and we greatly appreciate your support and all that.
That was great.
And I mean, you gotta be a good person, man. You gotta be a good person, and doing stuff like that and being around folks like you and other folks that are like-minded, it helps me and lets me know that there's still humanity out there. You know what I mean? And so
there is. I mean, the news wants us to believe everything's a dumpster fire, and there is a lot that is, but not everything.
I was taught in tattooing by good men who not only taught me tattooing, but they taught me how to be a good person and a good just businessman and man in general, and I try to give that back by being what they tried to instill in me.
Yeah. So one of your other talents is that you're a musician. We talked about this. You had a band in high school that got signed in high school or right out of high school, and you're a percussionist, to be particular. In other words, a drummer for those of you who aren't down with musical lingo. So kind of tell us when did you start into music?
I was always into music. I got a picture of myself with a drum set when I was like 2.
So you started at drums, didn't come off a different instrument.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah. I was a drummer. So I was introduced to drumming really early. I never let it go. I drummed through my entire childhood growing up. If I wasn't beating on other shit or drums, I was, thinking about drums, reading about drums. And then I was in a couple bands, and I had a little bit of success. I was actually in a metal band that was signed to Relapse Records, and that they're like one of the bigger labels in metal. So I was fortunate enough to be on labels and play with bands and kind of see the world. And I was in a unique opportunity not too long ago. Dave will make fun of me, but I was because you can only have one career, right?
Exactly. Yeah, what you've told me.
Well, look, I run a podcast and I'm a realtor and I run a cigar business. And I'm not Luciano Pavarotti, so.
Right. I was in a unique opportunity a couple years ago. I met this guy, Tim, and we had been in bands, and we kind of swerved around each other and would run into each other for years on the road at different venues and different things like that. And he would say, man, come join a band. Let's start a band. And, for 10 years straight. And I'd turn him down 10 years straight. And let's make a band like this. Let's play a band. No. Well, he called me out of the blue one day, and his band, Peacemaker, they had a bunch of shows with like Molly Hatchet. They had a bunch of shows with Quiet Riot. They had a bunch of shows. They were working on an opener with Aerosmith and the Black Crowes.
Uh-oh.
So, of course, I was like hooked in, And I told my wife, I said, I'll give them I think it was like 7 shows. I was like, I'll give them the 7 shows, because if I didn't, I would hate myself, because it would be like the what if, you know what I mean? And I did, man. We rocked the shit out of those shows, dude, except for the opener in Atlanta with the Black Crowes and Aerosmith. That fell through. They wound up canceling the show and the whole thing and this, that, and the other. But long story short, these shows are like, I'm playing with like the likes of Bobby Ingram, and we just did some stuff with Ricky Medlock, and he's in Lynyrd Skynyrd and Blackfoot, and so like we're getting ready to play some shows in Florida with 38 Special. Like I'm meeting and being around these great people, and like great musicians. And as a musician, you again, like tattooing, you try to surround yourself by like-minded people. And the band that I'm in, Peacemaker, they're all very talented, and we just put out an album. We recorded it down at Capricorn Studio in Macon, Georgia, where like the Allman Brothers, Lynyrd Skynyrd, all these greats, And so we just put that out. It hit all the Spotifys and different platforms. It's called Riverside. But man, so I gave them 7 shows, and now I'm 2.5 years in, and I've given them way more than that, because I just can't stop, man. It's like, it's fun. It's an addiction when you work hard for something, and you are able to play shows and practice and be around like-minded people. Again, it's like tattooing, man. It's It's incredible, man. And music, man, is like my outlet, Like some people got, building ARs or, smoking cigars or what. Music is truly my outlet, like I'm too all over the place to focus and sit down and, knit or model build. I've got drumming allows me to move everything.
Well, dude,
at all.
Drumming is like, and everybody has their things, but drumming is like major stress relief.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're like,
shit out of stuff,
and
man.
I've been wanting to get on my kit upstairs.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks I've needed it, but I just been getting home too late from the hospital, been worn out. And I think I told you when we were back in February, like, I've been wanting to drum forever, and my wife surprised me for my 45th birthday in October. Took me to a drum shop, bought me a Big Tez House of Drums there in Greenville. Bought me a kit, so it's upstairs in the bonus room. And so I'm a very novice drummer. I mean, I can keep rhythm, I can do some things, but here's the thing that I struggle with the most. So if I'm banging out eighth notes on my ride or on my hi-hat, right, with my right hand, and I get to a spot and I need to hit like a couple of sixteenths on the kick, my right hand wants to be in rhythm with my foot.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of, and it's like my brain, I don't know
I'm going to tell you like I tell Dave when he's doing a tattoo and he's over fucking a tattoo. Turn your brain off. Shut it down. Just do you and just let it happen naturally, and it's going to take practice, but like, drumming to me is like I don't have to put thought into it because it's fun and it just happens and you just shut your brain down for a minute and you just let it flow, if you will.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of crazy.
No, I understand what you're saying.
But like it took a long time obviously for me, it didn't happen overnight and you learn to move your legs and your arms and I don't know how to explain it. It's magical. It just happens.
Well, I'm musically inclined. I played, I learned everything about music that I know back in my days in grade school. I played the trumpet, French horn, and baritone. So I can read music.
Right.
And then I have pretty good rhythm. And so it just the drums kind of come naturally. I'm like the king of air drums in the car.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
And I try and tell when I have the opportunity, every young person, learn to play an instrument. It's a skill that I'm sure most adults wish they had.
Right.
And it's something you can do for life.
It's something you can do for life, man. And it's rewarding and it's I don't know, it's the high of creativity too, man, Obviously, tattooing to me is the high of the high because I'm doing something permanently, but music, man, I mean, like Dave, he played music. He sang about governments and and society.
Simple punk.
Yeah. But like everybody should play an instrument, man. Everybody should get into something like that. We got a guy who works with us now, Chris Glover. His son, he plays like 5 different instruments.
Yeah.
Lee John, he plays 5 different instruments. So it's.
I mean, and even if you're not going to do anything but play for yourself, you don't have to be in a band. You don't have to. What I do is, I have a subscription to Drumeo. I need to get back on there just to learn some stuff. But I just, I put on my headphones, I go on Spotify, find songs that I like, and I just play along.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what I do. And it's just. I don't know. It's cathartic. It's fun. It's relaxing. It gives you an outlet, gives you the opportunity to create.
Yeah. I'm playing Southern rock right now, and I come from a metal background.
You're crushing it, though, man.
And so it's not the hardest stuff that I'm playing, but it's the most rewarding stuff that I'm playing because I'm actually using like skill and I'm using technique now, whereas I've just been in bands where I've been forced to go as fast as I can. You know what I mean? So like it's right now I'm having fun with it because it's super rewarding. I'm doing, fills and different things and, trying to, it's like a traditional tattoo, man. It's so easy to overthink something that's so basic and so simple and, one line out of the ordinary and that traditional tattoo is not a traditional tattoo anymore. One fill out of where I'm at right now is not that, standard Southern rock sound or, like it just, I don't know, man. It's it's really rewarding because I'm actually having to work, but it's fun because it's technique. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, and obviously, if you have a song that you like, you could play it the way that it's been recorded or that it's meant to be played. But when you get to that fill,
right,
you can mix it up, and now it's got the Jeff Pence flair to it.
Oh, well, don't get me wrong. Anybody knows me, I'm gonna do me. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw me on.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
No, it's great. And whenever I was back at the Halloween thing in February, watching you, I'm like, this guy's got some serious skills, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
I had a great time. So Dave, you were singing or playing or both?
Oh no, I was just like a vocalist. It was just like hardcore punk rock. I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as to call it singing. It was just
screaming into a microphone,
kind of that stuff. It was 3/4 chord. There no music theory involved, or it was a lot of fuck authority, fuck government, kind of just I know, angry punk rock, sure. so to say. So like Jeff plays, he's very like, I don't know what, like musically inclined, or I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but we were just like 1 2 3 4 bah, 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 bah.
Well, no, I mean, a guy at his level, he understands the music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, he understands the music, he understands what's coming. He's drumming, of course, for the music in time, but he's preparing for that fill. He knows
if
there's
like
going to be a time change.
Formula. It's a formula.
Yeah, our formula was very simple, just very like meat and potatoes. So,
I love meat and potatoes.
Yeah,
I do too. I ate it every day last week.
So, but I was just doing it for fun. I was never like, I'm going to be a musician, I'm going to go play. No, I mean, we recorded a couple bands I were in. We recorded a couple like albums and stuff like that, but it was all just for fun.
Now, he played shows with big bands too. Like, there's a band that comes on, Two Gallants, on our Spotify playlist. I love Two Gallants, and Dave's, I play with him.
Yeah,
hey, that's so cool. Like, So like,
I mean, I did enough to where our bands cross paths with bands that were actually doing something.
Well, that's more than 99% of people will ever do.
Yeah. I mean, because we did open for we opened for actually a couple bands that had pretty big names in the punk rock world, but as mainstream music goes, they don't,
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. I mean, I had my time, and then one day I just kind of ran out of shit to say. So I was like,
I mean, you can only, tell the government to screw off so many times, and then it gets kind of mundane.
Point across.
Yeah, I got my point across. So
that's funny. All right, gents. Well, look, man, this has been super fun. I don't really have anything else on the docket unless y'all got something you want to talk about.
No, man, we got to go. We got tattoos.
Yeah,
you got tattoos. All right, well, let's
appointments there.
Let's wrap it up.
Appreciate you having us on, though, man. And I got to tell you, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself this morning. Just
glad to hear it.
Smoking some cigars, sitting in the sun. So I greatly appreciate you having us on. And again, sorry about your wife, and hopefully she's on the road to recovery.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
And so yeah,
awesome. Well, look, man, y'all follow Magic Rooster Tattoo on Instagram and on Facebook, and you can go to magicrooster.com, check them out, do your inquiries there. If you're in need of my services as a realtor or with the Cigar Box, you can get in touch with me directly at 864-207-2316. You can also visit mobileCigarBox.com to check me out, fill out the booking inquiry form. You can email me for real estate at cstrother@cdanjoiner.com, and visit GoFundMe, search support Jennifer Stewart's medical recovery, and help us out. Jeff, Dave, thanks for your time. It's been a great time. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right.
Have back again, man.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We'll do it again.
We'll tell you more about aliens and dinosaurs and reptile people.
Heck yeah. That sounds great.
We could do that.
Okay.
Down.
All right. We will see y'all again with another episode very soon.